Hello everyone. Today we've got some cool Rune level 13 invasions for you. Um, as you can see, Rune level 13 is dangerous because you can really take a lot of damage quickly, especially if you're using either of the source heals. And I want to point out that Phantom is using Blasphemous Blade and was wearing Millennia's armor, which indicates that they're probably pretty high level. I also invaded this group a little bit before, and that Phantom was also using 2 Hands of Millennia, meaning they've got a lot of stats. However, hunting high level Phantoms is really fun, and that's one of the reasons why I personally enjoy base level invasions. Now, with that in mind, patience is very, very important. Because the overleveled phantoms that are password summoned can very much outdamage me, especially since I'm just using a pretty tame setup most of the time. So here I'm just throwing down some volcano pots to hit with some AoE to just get in some chip damage and see if I can get them to move up to the barrels in order to get some burst fire damage, because the enemies in here are not they're not good enough to help with an overleveled phantom. The one enemy that is the Godric Knight that has Bloody Slash, because of the status buildup. So besides just being nice and patient, now that the overleveled phantom is coming forward, I can use my Spinning Slash Cold Infused Bastard Sword. As you can see now, they have Rivers of Blood and Hand of Millennia. Actually, I think they changed over to Ronnie's armor, but still. There we go. Phantom down. And if you look at the runes that I get, 355,173 is the number you get when you kill a max level phantom. So, woohoo! And so with that, I am still cautious, because if there's a 1 max level phantom in the world, the other phantom I am also going to be suspicious of. Now, here I have some perfumes. The Spark Aromatic has a really high base damage, so it's really, really powerful at near base level. It's like powerful in higher levels too, but at base level it is not super balanced. So this is an item that I try and match energy a lot when I'm doing low-level invasions, and Spark Aromatics are something that I don't generally use against honest groups of low-level or new players, just because I like matching energy. It's more fun, it's more sportsman, so I very much enjoy having just a good fight with new players. However, if a max level phantom's in the world, I will forego a little bit and use everything in my arsenal that I've been using to clear the game at Rune level 13 in order to in order to win the fight, because winning is fun, but having fun is more important. And speaking of good fun, first area Castle Morn invasions are really nice. There are a lot of enemies around with the Misbegotten, there's a lot of fun terrain, and this is an invasion with just 2 honest dudes who seem to be pretty new to the game, which is one of my favorite types of fights, because with new players, there is a little bit of caution, but there's generally a more willingness to fight than run back and sit by the grace. These guys wave hello, and I used the soft cotton just to make sure I didn't take fall damage, because questionable sometimes on what falls hurt you, kill you, etc., because it's hard to just gauge. There I mostly just sent the elevator down because I just didn't feel like doing a chase. This guy's got his Y-hander, and his friend has a Bloody Slash Twin Blade, which is, you can get that particular Twin Blade from the Dragonburn Ruins, and the Bloody Slash from Kenneth Heights Castle. And with the Zweihander, I'm not really able to, since it has the really good hyper armor, I'm not really able to poise break it, so I change over to my cold Twin Blade. And here I'm trying to match, speaking of matching energy, I know the cold Twin Blade is a little bit of a later weapon, but like, I guess the Twin Blade, there's access to the Twin Blade, and Chilling Mist is not super far off from here. Yeah, these guys, as you can see, the blender can be very real with Twin Blade plus a Colossal Sword. And if I think correctly, the Phantom is heavy rolling, but if you've got a friend and you've got a Colossal and you're holding a Colossal weapon, heavy rolling is not too much of a problem because you can just mash R1 and just like poise tank most things, and your friend can clean things up. And as you can see, like they're being careful to not get the attention of all the Misbegotten, but like we're just fighting and brawling it out. Like there's no fear of being like, oh no, I'm gonna lose. Like these guys are just swinging swords, having a good time. And here I'm just using the Rune and swinging. And here, like, I back off for a second, being like, oh, do I use a Warming Stone? And I'm like, no, these guys we're having too much fun. We're just gonna keep this honest. I've got plenty of flasks, and we're just gonna keep going. And I think with the Peeler, I was thinking about using Black Flame Tornado mostly just because it's really cool. And because of the area. And there I changed off of the knife because I wanted a faster weapon, but the black knife is, well, I would say it's meaner than I want to use for these guys just being super honest. But my Stormblade longsword is pretty honest. And I'm just using the volcano pots just to like keep them separated and do a little bit of area control. Yeah, like this was a really fun fight, and I think these guys had a really good time too. And I think the host just walked into the tail end of the volcano pod, and with this guy just taking a moment to bow at the end, I think they had a really good time. I hope they had a good time and that they enjoyed the fight and will keep enjoying Elden Ring, because like that's what you want when you invade people who are new to the game. You want them to have a fun fight, so that way they get interested in invading in PvP and just like honest, fun, forward sword swinging. Now, these guys, I'm going to show off a little bit how mean it's not the meanest weapon there is, but it's meaner than like starting area equipment of the Black Knight, because this host is wearing Haligtree stuff. So this is either means one of two things. One, he's had a friend who dropped for him, meaning that his friend is potentially overleveled, or they used a save file that had equipment that is not starting area equipment. So here the friend has a decent idea of what they're doing with the lance, and the lance is a very, very strong weapon. So I am going to run back to get any amount of NPC enemies to just help keep them separated from me, so I'm not dealing with two guys swinging at me at the same time. And because of my physic choice, I am restoring a decent amount of health. And as you can see, like, if reducing the max health and doing a really good amount of chip damage, like the black knife is very, very strong. I mean, not the meanest thing you can use, but it's still really good. Yeah, and although in this case, I don't think it turns out that I don't think the Phantom is egregiously over-leveled, if they are over-leveled at all. But when you're invading, you have to, if you haven't already invaded someone, and sometimes, like, if you're just invading for a couple hours, you can run into the same guys more than once if they're not using Taunter's Tongue. But you have to go off of the best information that you have. And sometimes you, like that, only getting 124 runes, you guess wrong if whether someone's over-leveled or not. But, again, GG guys, that was a fun fight. But yeah. And that's also why I wanted to do... Oh yeah, and this guy, I fought him before. They were just doing some honest solo TT in Stormvale Castle, where I kind of just ran them down because I didn't know whether or not they had friends. But here we're going to just have a cool, honest fight, and they're using Black Flame Blade on a Warhawk's Talon, which is really cool. I love the Warhawk's Talon. But I forget what I was saying about, like, sometimes you just misgauge on what someone does, and I think that's why, because I'm doing some low level stuff and I want to use the later game equipment, I've made the beating up bosses low level series just to be like, yeah, you can go. For invading at low level, I recommend just, like, doing it and getting all the stuff fairly before using files, like other stuff, to help, like, because when you're making a ton of builds for entertainment, use what you need to keep being entertaining. However, obtain everything normally once. So, like, for a low level, like, if you want to do low level invasions, go grab all the stuff that you want to use for your low level build once, so that way it's all, like, it just feels more honest and better to me. And this has just been a really cool fight. We're just using the terrain, running up and down. Yeah, I love these, like, honest, just swinging, going at it brawls. It's just so much fun when you can just, like, swing. And watch this lock-on work. When lock-on actually works and you get the turnaround for the jumping falling R1, it's so much fun. And now here we have, in our last invasion, one more over-leveled Phantom Hunt. And here we are in Stormvale, and so although they're a little bit further away, I noticed that the Phantom has Lusat's staff, which takes, like, almost 50 intelligence, I think, in order to equip, and Rivers of Blood. So to me, that's just like, okay, we're this person's high level. And here I'm using the Cold Twin Blade in order to be able to stun them out of animations with the Frost proc. Not that River's Blood has a ton of hyper armor, but I just really want to make sure that I don't get comboed, and having the status break someone out of an attack is a way to do that, because there are certain things like Colossal Swords where if you don't use a status, you're not going to break the hyper armor. Now here I just changed over to a Bleed Twin Blade because I'm not running that much Arcane. It's not a ton of bleed buildup, but versus the Frost, it's nice because I don't have to reset the frost in order to get the other stun. So that's why I have, and I'm also just kind of trying it out. And yeah. Now here they're kind of backing up into a more closed room, but I don't blame them because the exile soldiers are they are shooting crossbow bolts with better accuracy than stormtroopers. So I don't blame them for backing up. But now that we're in here and they've pulled out and switched over to Moonveil, I know that I need to change strategies a little bit because there's just a lot of terrain. And sometimes you just need an attack that goes through terrain, and I also don't feel super bad because the Phantom is very clearly overleveled. So we're bringing out Vike's Spear, because the Ash of War can, like, as you can see, climb over and kind of clip through terrain. And also, since they're using the Sacred Relic Sword, I don't really feel that bad. And mostly, this, in addition to the high poise damage, Madness has the same stunning capability as a Frost or a Bleed proc. It's just also that the damage and the health damage and FP damage can go through even when there's a Phantom hit. So I hope you all have enjoyed these Rune level 13 invasions, and I will catch you in the next video. Have an awesome day. See ya!